Last night in the studio, we had a few technical difficulties. I'm going to catch you up to the conversation. Now, the main topic where we started off was with regard to the enigmatic LaMelo Ball. Now, last season, LaMelo was playing at an all-star clip. This season, due to injuries, now he's had a lot of injuries through his career, but this season, due to injury, he's gotten off to a rocky start. What I mean by that is he hasn't quite got his footing, yet Charlotte has a terrific rookie class. They've got 7-foot Kalkbrenner from Creighton. They've got James from Duke, Zion James from Duke. And they've got another kid from Duke, Con Kneppel. Like Shaq said in the podcast a few months ago, Con, you dig it. Yes, sir. Con Kneppel is quietly or loudly, depending on how you want to look at it, has become the new face of the franchise. So the question is there still an opportunity for LaMelo to thrive in Charlotte? We're going to jump into that conversation in just a moment. I'm Troy Miles, and I am here to tell you about the virtual game of basketball. Yes. The Math, Physics, and Fundamentals, forward by Lenny Wilkins. If you haven't read this book, it's time to cop a copy. Time to cop a copy. Indeedy. Anyway, if you love basketball, you will love the virtual game of basketball. Really, it's the martial arts of basketball, all wrapped up into a nice little, easy to digest book. You'll love it. Trust me on that. I think that in the right circumstance, I don't believe LaMelo's going to be the weak link. I think he's too talented. I think he's too intelligent, and I think that inevitably he'll do the right things. The aberrant things that he does, that loosey-goosey things that he seems to bring to the equation. I think that with real winning in the balance, I think he'll do the right thing.
I agree. I agree with everything you said. Real quick, I agree with everything you're saying, Troy. But I think you're stating that with the mindset that he's going to get that done in Charlotte. I think for him, he's the only valuable trade bait for Charlotte to get them to the next step where they make them better. I think LaMelo's going to get his somewhere else. He's going to get somewhere else, and hopefully get somewhere where there's some kind of leadership and mentorship, some vets there that's kind of calm him down. They're in a winning situation. I don't know if he's going to be able to go to a winning team, but a team right there that needs something, and then you're going to be able to see him kind of settle his game down, and it's not going to be so much fancy, throw it here, flip, flop. He got it in his game, but I do think he's talented enough, like you said, to make those transitions where I need to play some solid basketball, make sure I get the job done as a true point guard.
Yeah.
I believe he's going to get it done, but it'll be somewhere else.
I love you guys thinking. I love your thinking, but this is the only thing I say is this right here, because he's going into year what, 6, 7?
He's in year 6 right now.
6, right?
Mhm.
Okay, that's a long stretch at the NBA level. That's a long stretch, and so I give him the first 2 to 3 years to try to figure everything out, right? But then there comes a point where you're like, okay, well, that's what you did for your first 2, 3 years. Now, what about your 4th, 5th, 6th year? What about when games are on the line and you're thinking that it's okay to shoot a one-leg 3-point shot? Now you're looking at it going, whoa, hold on, bro. That's who you are at the end of the day, because that's part of what your game's always been. That's what's made you as good as you've been. And he hasn't taken the next step to say, I'm going to take this out of my game to sacrifice for the rest of my team. That's where I don't see the value in him taking the next step to who he should be as a player. Is he a good player in the league? Yes, he's good. He's good on 90%, 85% of the nights. He's really good.
Is there a chance that he's in a situation where he's not going to have anybody around him to make? No, listen. He's with Charlotte. He's with Charlotte. Charlotte.
Let me ask you this. Answer this. How many players do you know that have been in the league for 6 years and then they went to another organization and they were like, boom, that man, they changed their whole deal. Now they're the next level player.
I don't believe he need to change that much. There's not much that need to be changed. I think it's in between his head.
I think it's refinement.
I don't believe as much need to be changed.
That's a talent. Being part of your head is a talent.
It is, but if you got a guy that's been playing a certain way so long, for instance, Lonzo played a certain way for so long. When he got into the league, he had to make some necessary changes, and he did.
When were Lonzo's changes, though? It was right?
No, more than that. What was the organizations he was involved with? It's an organizational thing. Charlotte is not a great organization, man. They're not. I'm talking about from the top, even to the coaching. I don't know the coach, but like I said, if you have a coaching staff that he's going to respect, and he needs somebody he's going to respect because he's the money man, he's the star of the team, which means that there's very little they're going to say to him. They can't say anything to him. He makes more money than everybody in their place, so they're not going to say much to him. They're going to let him flash. Why? Because he's putting butts in the seats. Now, if they want to win, they probably got to get him out of there.
There's one position throughout the league that you have a small margin of error for. Lead guard.
I agree wholeheartedly.
Lead guard.
I totally agree.
Because you know what? When you go to any organization you go to, the same is going to be asked of you.
Mm-hmm.
Can you be a leader? Can you make the right plays at the right time? That's what I was just saying. I just watched the kid play last night. I was so enamored with it because I said, as I'm sitting there, I'm going, what he does, what he understands, his teammates, how he plays, what he does, what he brings to the table, there were a couple times last night he was playing. I was like, he could easily have went for 40 against us last night, but he had enough compact in his game to say discipline, not compact discipline, to where it was like, no, I'm going to make this play, and it doesn't matter about me. He got 29 on us when he could have got 49.
Love them type of players.
And he made the simple pass when it could have been something different. He went and made the simple screen when the simple screen helped somebody else get better and get him off too. That's what I say. There's only
he knows how to play the game.
When you watch the game, you go, that guy gets it.
Well,
and don't get me wrong. I understand. I love it. I love he has great talent, but there's too much of that other stuff in his game that I don't know if he can bring an organization to the level he needs to for it to be a championship contender.
Well, we're gonna.
Can they win a lot of games? Yes, you can win a lot of games with his talent.
Craig, the kid that you're talking about, I felt that way about Peyton Pritchard when I seen him in 16U. When I saw him play, the same way he plays for the Celtics, he played exactly the same way when he was on the road.
This kid's 6'3". This kid is 6'3".
Okay.
And I'm so impressed with him that I'll tell you guys later, but yeah, I'm impressed with him.
Hey, one more thing, Craig, Troy, before you go, one more thing about Melo. Craig, I think you and I have a little bit different perspective because I've seen the kid since he was 10, 11. I've seen him playing with his big brothers, and I was one of the ones like Troy. We came in the gym, we was like, it's not fair to the players that this dude is allowed to play. But when you see him play, how effective he was, even at a young age, he was playing against the big guys. He was 12 playing against the 15 and 16-year-olds. He was getting it done, but it was a different style of play. He pretty much plays the same exact way, and I don't think that's a good thing. I don't believe it's a good thing because when he plays the way he's playing, you're taking away from what you saw from the kid the other night. The solid, smart way of playing the basketball, and the Steve Nash way of playing ball. Right? Rajon Rondo type playing ball. So I understand where you're coming from. What I'm trying to say, and I think what Troy's trying to say as well is, if he's placed in a different situation, he needs force to take a lead spot with a Murray and a Jokic or something. And I'm just throwing that out there. If he's put in a situation, I believe the kid is talented enough and skilled enough and smart enough to change his game to make sure he fits that situation. He can get away with that in Charlotte because Charlotte is a second-rate organization, in my opinion.
But you draft him at Charlotte to change that prospect of their program. That's why you draft him.
Maybe they believe he would. Maybe they believe he did. He was.
And this is the other thing. This is the other thing.
He has in the way.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
We have to move forward. All right, fellas. We are here once again for another episode of The Point. Walk the walk, hoop talk. Gentlemen, what's going on tonight?
It's a tag.
What's up, man? What's happening?
Well, there's a lot going on as always. We are here a day after the NBA Cup has crowned the champion, and that is the New York Knicks with their 124-113 victory over San Antonio last night. As well as New York played, and they are the champion. I personally think it's San Antonio that made the statement in the Emirates Cup. And let's back up a little bit to a few nights ago when they played OKC, and Wemby made his not his season debut, but it was his first time playing, and I think 12 games with his calf strain. What he was able to bring to San Antonio and that affair was absolutely off the chart. I mean, he changes the dynamic of the whole game on both ends of the floor. I mean, he's a natural mismatch. He's 7'5", 7'6". Despite the minutes restrictions, he covered my parlay.
That's the most important thing.
There it is.
I'm just saying. I mean,
yeah.
And moving forward, I'll say this: as well as he played in the semifinals against OKC, I was screaming at the television in the final. I mean, he has the ability to do absolutely anything on the floor. He has guard-like qualities. He hits the threes. He plays at all levels. He does all these things. But, fellas, am I just old-fashioned? I want to see that man scored in the paint. Every time he pulls up for a three, I'm like, no! Okay, if he makes it, I'm like, okay, good shot. But I just think that his propensity to pull up for long shots, even though it's a part of his game, makes them less effective. And when he came into the game and San Antonio took a command, had a not necessarily a commanding lead, but they had a commanding situation, I was really hoping that they would just keep feeding the beast. I mean, he's so unstoppable around the basket. Would you? Maybe I'm off base. Would you? What do you guys feel about him shooting threes? Is that okay?
This is what I see in that whole scenario that you're talking about. Love where San Antonio is at right now, right? And we love our boy Vic, who's coaching them, right? Just like we just talked about another player, Wembanyama is in his second year. His third year. He will gravitate toward that right there because I believe he has it in his skill set to do what he needs to do to dominate the game. And I think he has the discipline, understanding to do it. And he also has a guy that needs the same experience to make him be that way, which is our boy Mitch Johnson. Mitch needs a year or two to make sure that that happens, as
Yeah.
long as Wembanyama needs to make that. So
It,
when we look at that right there, I look at it as they will get on that page. It's going to take a little bit longer because they're early in their careers. Both
Mm-hmm.
the coach early in his career and the players early in his career. But I think we will see that make hopefully by the end of the season, but by next year, the dominance will be crazy. That's that that
well,
that's that's
he's already dominated.
right.
But
I
I
think
just want
But
to.
it's just an opportunity. Like you said, for them to get better. Like I said, they gotta, like I
I
said, go back and chop
question.
film.
I just
right,
want him to be more judicious about when he takes threes because
right,
yes, it is a part of his game. He he he
right.
he, he does have that, but
But
but like when the game when it's crunch time and you guys are grinding
right.
for another 2 points and then eventually another stop. I just don't think the quick three is what's in order. I mean, there's nobody that can stop him inside the painted area. So I think that's where they need to be taking advantage of him.
It,
I mean
and he should
every
take advantage
possession.
of
I mean
that.
every possession needs to be
Yeah.
yes.
And that's the difference between the two we were talking about. He's two years in, third year in. I think by the third, fourth year, you can see it in him. He will make sure that he takes the right shots when the right opportunity and take advantage of those. Where I think before when we were saying something, that's just who you are. There's differences. To me, I think there's a difference. And like I said, I do believe Mitch Johnson being in his second year basically, it will be even better than that. You know, like my guy from the Celtics, it took him 2 years to really figure out how to get Jalen Brown and Jason Tatum, and then making sure they made the right. Because you know what, you know this as well as I know this. Possessions at a high level, I mean, man, it's boom. You got a small margin of error for making the wrong possession at the wrong time because it can cost you games and it can cost you playoff wins. So I believe that in them. I think Wembanyama will figure that out. If not for sure at the end of this year, definitely by his next year he will see. I believe he'll fill that out.
Well, 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 I think it's a solid environment and situation. I mean, Mitch did a hell of a job coaching,
Oh yeah,
situationally. I think both coaches did a good job, but I think it's um, you know it's it, I think it's been a blessing that Wimby's been out of the lineup and that San Antonio's kind of had to figure out some things without him, and they've done a good job without him. They've been effective
oh
without
yeah.
him.
Well, you
Um,
brought Darian Fox
and
back.
now that he's
And
back into the mix,
yeah, and you got Castle. You, I mean, man,
well,
man, yeah. So that to me looks good.
it put some other people in positions to step up and to carve out their description, and
Right.
you know what you're going to get from Wimby, and the thing that makes it fun to watch with Wimby is how he impacts the game
Oh,
defensively. It's like
oh,
it's unbelievable, and he how much space he commands, how wherever he is on the floor, he demands attention. And like for example, when you're it allows the other players to attack the basket without having to worry about the big coming over, because if anybody leaves Wimby, they're just gonna throw it up and he's gonna throw that stuff down. So I mean, just the impact of his game is
it,
incredible.